Hello dear student, class 8 history chapter 3 rural life and society. We will start with this chapter in history segment. So as we can see, villages in ancient and medieval India were largely self-sufficient. Most farmers owned the land which they cultivated and paid taxes. They have paid taxes known as land revenue. So the taxes at that time, in ancient time, which was paid, that was known as land revenue. In Hindi, that was known as lagan. To the rulers utilized part of the land revenue for improving the land and for implementing welfare schemes such as digging wells and canals for water supply, for good irrigation. During years of crop failure, many rulers even exempted, they have given relief. Exempted means relief in certain condition or circumstances. Exempted the farmers from paying tax. This ensured there was always enough food for the survival of the farmers and their families. Many of these systems underwent or undergone significant changes with the coming of the British. Since the time in ancient time, the land revenue system was different. But when the Britishers came to India and they started interfering in the internal matters, then the certain changes happened, which we will see. The grant of Diwani allowed the British to collect revenue from the prosperous regions of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. The right to civil and judicial administration, however, remained with the Nawabs or Indian rulers. This thus created a dual system of government in which the judicial administration and civil administration was with the Nawabs, but the Diwani, or in simple words, revenue collection, land revenue collection, was with Britishers. So this was the dual system of government. The British had no interest in utilizing the revenue for the welfare of Indians. They were greedy, they had different plans at the time. Their sole aim being to expand their trading operations in India in order to maximize their profit. They just came and they interfered in the system just to make money, more and more wealth. So, with this intent, with this intention or this aim, the British introduced many changes in agriculture in India. जब अंग्रेज़ भारत में आए तो उन्होंने जो दीवानी की व्यवस्था थी, जो लगान वसूली थी, लैंड रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन अपने हाथों में ले लिया और धीरे धीरे पैसे और वेल्थ, प्रॉपर्टी से जो प्रॉफिट्स आ रहे थे उनको अपने पास रख लिया. विथ दिस इंटेंट, इस धारणा से, इस सोच से, द ब्रिटिश इंट्रोड्यूस्ड मेनी चेंजेस इन एग्रीकल्चर इन इंडिया. और इस सोच से उन्होंने, ब्रिटिशर्स ने अलग अलग लैंड रेवेन्यू सिस्टम, कर प्रणाली, लगान वसूली की जो प्रोसेस थी उसमें चेंजेस किए. लेट अस लुक at some of these. land revenue collection under the British. The British devised, they formulated different forms of land revenue collection in different regions of India to help them maximize profit. Let us look at the three main types. So, three main types system of land revenue collection under the British was the permanent settlement, second the Rayatwadi system, and third the Mahalwadi system. So we will see beta here one by one. The permanent settlement, this was introduced by Lord Cornwallis in 1793 in Bengal, Odisha, Bihar, Varanasi and some part of Madras Presidency. The permanent settlement, in Hindi it is also known as Sthai Shashan, Sthai Bandobast, permanent. In this system, in this permanent settlement, zamindars who in the Mughal period had no ownership of land. In Mughal period, zamindars, they had no ownership, but only the right to collect revenue from it were made the owners under the permanent settlement. But during this period and under the permanent settlement rule, zamindars got the ownership of land. Zamindars had to pay the British a permanently fixed amount of revenue regardless of the yield of land. This amount had to be paid by a particular date, failing which the land could be transferred to someone else or different zamindars or another zamindar. Any tax that was collected over and above this fixed amount belonged to the zamindar. So, अंडर परमानेंट सेटलमेंट और स्थाई बंदोबस्त, इसके दौरान पहले जो ज़मींदार हुआ करते थे अंडर द मुग़ल पीरियड, उनके पास ज़मीन का मालिकाना हक या कोई जिम्मेदारी नहीं थी. बट आफ्टर द परमानेंट और अंडर द परमानेंट सेटलमेंट दे गॉट द फुल राइट और ओनरशिप ऑफ लैंड. उन्हें ज़मीन का पूरा अधिकार मिल गया. और ज़मींदार क्या करते थे, उस ज़मीन से जो आने वाला लैंड रेवेन्यू होता था, दैट लगान, दैट वाज फिक्स्ड बाय द ब्रिटिशर्स, एंड ज़मींदार को वो लगान एक पर्टिकुलर फिक्स्ड डेट पर ही देना पड़ता था. अगर ज़मींदार समय पे लगान नहीं दे पाता और लैंड रेवेन्यू ब्रिटिशर्स तक नहीं पहुंचा पाता था, तो इस कंडीशन में द लैंड कुड बी ट्रांसफर्ड टू समवन एल्स, मीन्स किसी दूसरे व्यक्ति या ज़मींदार को वो ज़मीन दे दी जाती थी बाय ब्रिटिशर्स. सिंस टैक्स कलेक्शन वाज फिक्स्ड, अमाउंट वाज फिक्स्ड, तो जो लगान की रकम थी, अमाउंट था, वो फिक्स था और ज़मींदार सेम अमाउंट ब्रिटिशर्स को दे देते थे. बट जो एक्स्ट्रा अमाउंट वो अपने पास वो बनाते थे, वो जो एक्स्ट्रा वसूली करते थे गलत तरीके से, उसको अपने बेनिफिट के लिए, फ़ायदे के लिए इस्तेमाल ज़मींदारों ने करना शुरू कर दिया था. ओके बेटा, नाउ विल सी demerits or disadvantages of permanent settlements. This system helped the British win the loyalty and support the zamindars, but it had many demerits or disadvantages. Some are like this. Many zamindars began to change exorbitant amounts of tax from the farmers. Exorbitant, excessive, something more extra, ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा, more than sufficient or more than fixed amount, exorbitant. Okay, as anything over the fixed amount to be paid to the British was their income. Zamindar exploited and ill-treated those who failed to pay the taxes. Second point, the rate fixed by British was so high that even some zamindar failed to pay the amount. जो ब्रिटिश सरकार ने अमाउंट फिक्स किया था लगान का, वो ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा भी था कहीं कहीं, और कुछ ज़मींदार उतना लगान वसूल नहीं कर पाते थे. तो जब वसूल नहीं कर पाते थे किसानों से या पीसेंट से, फार्मर से, तो वो दे नहीं पाते थे ब्रिटिशर्स को, एंड दे फेल्ड टू पे द अमाउंट, एंड इन द प्रोसेस लॉस्ट दियर ज़मींदारी to those who had money and good connection. जो नहीं दे पाते थे उनको अपनी ज़मींदारी से हाथ धोना पड़ता था या छोड़ना पड़ता था. To those who had money and good connection with the British officers. But since these newer zamindars often lived in cities away from agricultural land, they become a class of absentee landlords. Absentee landlords means beta, a person or zamindar who rents a property to someone but does not live in or visit the property. कुछ ऐसे भी ज़मींदार थे जो अपनी ज़मीनें किसानों को दे देते थे खेती करने के लिए, और बहुत दिनों तक वहाँ आते ही नहीं थे या वहाँ पे रहते नहीं थे. दिस इज नोन एज एब्सेंटी लैंडलॉर्ड, विथ नो इंटरेस्ट इन आइदर द लैंड और द peasant. Peasant here means farmers. As a result, agriculture suffered greatly due to avoidance of zamindar. Third point, or second last point, the farmers often borrowed money from the zamindars or local money lenders at very high rates of interest to pay the taxes. If they failed to repay the money, the farmers had to sell or mortgage. Mortgage means to keep property, make an agreement while borrowing money or taking money from another person or money lenders. The farmers had to sell or mortgage their lands, and more often than not were forced into bonded labor. जो किसान लगान नहीं दे पाते थे, लैंड रेवेन्यू नहीं दे पाते थे, तो वो क्या करते थे कि जो साहूकार थे, मनी लैंडर्स थे, उनके पास अपनी ज़मीन को गिरवी रख देते थे, मॉर्टगेज कर देते थे, या ऐसे साहूकारों के पास में बंधुआ मजदूर, ऑल्सो नोन एज बॉन्डेड लेबर के रूप में काम करने लग जाते थे. When the revenue from the land increased, the zamindars became richer, but the British did not gain anything, as their share was permanently fixed. Thus, the British too lost a considerable amount of revenue due to permanent settlement. So these are some demerits or disadvantages or negative points of permanent settlement. Now beta we'll see next land revenue system, that is Raiyatwadi system. The British introduced a different method of revenue collection in the Madras and Bombay Presidency in 1820. It was known as the Rayatwadi system. In this system, Rayat means cultivator or farmers, where the owners of the land, they paid half of their earnings as tax to the agents of the British government. This gave more security to the Rayats or cultivators. As there were no intermediaries or zamindar, the government was able to get more revenue as compared to permanent settlement. Since here the ownership got by farmers or cultivator itself only, so the farmer had to pay the taxes directly to Britishers without passing to zamindar. So there were no intermediaries or mediator like zamindars. The taxes were revised every 20 years. हर 20 साल के बाद में टैक्स क्या किया जाता था, जो रेट होता था, दर होती थी, उसको रिवाइज किया जाता था, बदल दिया जाता था. If the taxes were not paid, the Rayat was evicted or expelled out and the land given to someone else. अगर किसान नहीं दे पाते थे टाइम पर टैक्सेस, तो उन्हें ज़मीन खाली करनी पड़ती थी और उसका मालिक किसी दूसरे किसान को बना दिया जाता था. सो दिस वॉज रैयतवाड़ी सिस्टम which was introduced in 1820. Now we'll see the third system, that is Mahalwadi system. The Mahalwadi system of tax collection was introduced in Punjab and the northwestern region of India in 1833. Under this system, one landlord or zamindar, usually the head of the village. Beta, here the condition is different. Here one landlord will be the head of village, was chosen to represent a group of villages or mahal. The village head would collect taxes from all the villagers and hand it over to the tax collector or lambardar. The lambardar collected the tax from each village and remitted or paid it in bulk to the British government or government. The cultivators or farmers were individually and jointly responsible for the payment of taxes to the government. So they were the part of this system, Mahalwadi system. In this system or in this Mahalwadi system too, the tax was fixed and revised at regular intervals. So beta, we have seen here three different systems of land revenue collection. The permanent settlement, after that Rayatwadi system, and final the Mahalwadi system.